Hey everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Ab.
And this is the Avenue All Access 29RL. Ab, what are some of the specs on this thing?
Yep, so your overall length is going to be just under 33 feet. Dry weight's going to be just under 9,500 pounds.
Awesome, let's go ahead and take a tour inside first. All right, Ab, so we took a step inside the 29RL. Great floor plan. Why don't you explain kind of from a high level what everyone's going to get when they step into the 29RL?
Sure. This has been trending as one of our most popular floor plans, and I think what is attracting consumers to the 29RL is the overall length. Just under 33 feet is an ideal length when we're talking about getting into national parks, state parks, just tight areas in general. So for a couples coach under 33 feet, that's probably been the most appealing part. Remember, we also incorporate 101-inch wide-body construction. So we're giving our customers more square footage without the length.
Yeah, very nice. You got this beautiful rear living space, so why don't we start back here and talk about what you get in the entertainment space. All right, Ab, so in the rear living of the 29RL, which RL, you got a lot of seating options and a beautiful entertainment center. Why don't you explain everything that's going on back here for everyone watching?
Sure, I think we'll just kind of start where you're sitting. I think the first thing I'd like to highlight is the slide box height on the All Access. It's a few inches shorter than our Avenue, but it's still significantly taller than our competitors, which allows us to incorporate these massive atrium windows that all open, give you great cross ventilation, and just a wonderful panoramic view. Another favorite feature is the love seat / theater seating that we've incorporated. So if we flip down that center console, it's going to give us 2 cup holders, ANC charge ports, and a 110 outlet, and they're wall huggers. So just a great add in the theater seat that is directly across from the 50-inch smart TV. On the back wall in the corners, you're going to find flip-up storage solutions on both sides. You'll see that I'm sitting on a 76.5-inch trifold sofa, which that's a big deal. Again, that wide body is really allowing us to get a 3-cushion sofa where, again, you'll find a lot of our competitors just have a 2-cushion sofa, making a smaller sleeping area. And then moving on to the entertainment center, again, you'll find a 50-inch smart TV with some great storage behind that. It's on a swivel mount, so we can angle that TV in any position, depending on the viewing angle you're looking for. Below that, you're going to find a 5100 BTU fireplace. It's going to kick off a fair amount of heat. And then above that, a ton of overhead storage. So a lot going on back here.
Yeah, tons of storage. And then on the end tables at each end of the sofa you're sitting on does have 110 power and USB ANC charge types.
Yep.
Just making sure you can charge those tablets everywhere. I love that. All right, let's go ahead and head to the kitchen next and talk about where you're going to make those nice meals. All right, so now we took a step into the kitchen. Beautiful kitchen island, but there's a lot going on here. What are all the features that everyone's going to want to know about?
Yeah, there is a lot going on in this space here. We'll start with the solid surface countertops throughout. Just an unseen feature in this segment. Just a really nice residential touch. Another thing that I like that we've done here is we're very strategic in the placement of our sink in this island. Shifting this over to the left just gives us a ton of prep space when we're trying to cook and just navigate around the kitchen. So just a big advantage there. Behind me, you're going to find that we also utilize the space on both sides of the range really well. Again, a lot of times this range will get pushed all the way over to the right. If you try to get a pot and pan on here, handles hitting the side, it just doesn't work really well. Another nice feature you're going to find is the 30-inch over-the-range microwave, 21-inch oven, 3-burner cooktop, and a massive pots and pan drawer as well.
Yeah, in addition to, it looks like you got those reinforced drawers to support up to 90 pounds.
Yep.
And you have those birch glazed hardwood drawers, so no splintering on them.
Absolutely. You're also going to find a really nice utensil tray in here too.
Awesome. Okay, and then talking about appliances, you got this great refrigerator and pantry behind me.
I'm excited about this. So this is a new French door pull-out freezer, 10-cube refrigerator that is going to allow us to have access to this refrigerator when our slides are in. Something we couldn't quite achieve early on, and I would say a lot of our competitors can't to this day.
Yeah, so as our friend Josh the RV nerd would say, this is road mode approved because you can get to the refrigerator and the bathroom when the slide outs are in.
Exactly.
Very smart. I love that. And then behind me, you got some additional storage. Let's talk about that next.
You'll find a floor-to-ceiling pantry with adjustable shelves, including a motion sensor light. Just next to that in the hutch area, you'll see we continue the solid surface countertops. We incorporate a very decorative backsplash that is made from aluminum, and then a ton of storage below and above.
All right, Ab, tons of storage, great kitchen with great appliances, but where are we gonna eat all that food that we cook? Let's talk about the dinette next. Ab, you designed a very functional dinette, tons of comments at all the RV shows we've been going to. Explain the space and why it's hyper practical.
Yeah, just a very multifunctional offering. One of the biggest advantages, Joe, is that it is a legless dinette. So we don't have those two pedestals that are always banging your knees. We also have an ottoman here that is very versatile. It's got a ton of storage in it. It can be used as an ottoman, it can be used as a bench seat, and then the two hardwood chairs just across that. A nice feature you'll notice as well is the dimmer switches in the slide as well as throughout the coach.
Setting that ambiance while you're having dinner, love it. Okay, Ab, why don't you take them upstairs and talk about the bedroom and bathroom next?
Perfect. In the bathroom, you'll find we're using a porcelain foot flush toilet, an illuminated light switch, and a great spot to hang all your towels. Just across from there, you're going to find a large medicine cabinet, a huge stainless steel sink, and a ton of storage. Now let's move into the bedroom. Now that we're in the bedroom of the 29RL, the biggest advantage, in my opinion, is the space that you have around the bed. Again, incorporating a 101-inch wide body construction gives us some massive benefits. You're going to have over 25 inches on one side of the bed and over 20 inches where I'm standing here. We also don't have that clunky step that you have to take in some of our competitors' floor plans to get in and out of the bed. A couple other advantages you'll find is a massive wardrobe. Below that, you're going to have pull-out drawers that is also prepped for a washer and dryer, and then a ton of storage. In our overheads, you're going to find A and C charge ports on both sides, along with 110 outlets. And a really cool feature is that you're going to have hidden storage with hardwood tops on both ends of the bed. Now let's go talk about some customer-driven features back in the living room.
All right, Ab, so we know customer-driven features of the North Star, but you added a new feature. What is that?
Yeah, so excited to announce that we are going with the Furrion chill cubes across the board on the Avenue lines. I think one of the biggest advantages or things that I find appealing is this is an 18,000 BTU AC in the main living. So we've really enhanced the output there. Still hold true to our AC values, and they're very quiet. I think we're under 57 decibels, and you're still running 2 ACs on 30 amp service and 3 ACs on 50 if you did that. So it's pretty awesome.
I love it. And one of my favorite features about the chill cube is that follow me mode. You press the button on the remote and you got a traveling thermostat.
Yep.
Very cool. Okay, let's talk about additional customer driven features that have been the staple of Alliance. What have you brought into the Avenue line to help our customers?
Yeah, I'll start with the carpetless interior. Just a very clean approach, very pet friendly. You'll also see that we don't incorporate any in-floor heat ducts. They're coming out of our islands and cabinets. So we've eliminated those crumb collectors. One of my favorite ones has to be the atrium windows. Just incorporating those massive windows that give us a great view, but more importantly, actually open, is a huge advantage.
Yeah, and then you got those flush floor slides.
Those are
no awkward toe stubbers. I love that.
Absolutely, especially in the kitchen, right? When you're trying to navigate around and you're cooking a meal, it's going to make it a lot nicer.
I agree with you. All right, let's go ahead and head outside and talk about all the great features you're going to find on the 29RL. All right, Ab, so now that we're on the outside of the 29RL, let's talk about one of the most important features. How's this thing built?
First thing I like to talk about is Azdel. That's a composite material you're going to find across the board here at Alliance RV. The biggest benefit, Joe, is Azdel is not a wood. It's not Luan that you'll find in a lot of our competition. So if you ever did have water intrusion, it's not going to adhere. So, we don't experience delamination, and that is a big advantage for our consumer.
Yeah, so you got double-sided Azdel walls on each side, and then you have a composite floor too,
correct?
Right?
Yep, so we've got 2 layers of Azdel on the top of that laminated floor and an additional layer on the bottom.
Nice, and then aluminum cage construction, just making it lightweight and more durable. And then what's on the roof up there?
So on the roof, you have a PVC membrane. I love PVC for 3 big reasons. First and foremost, it has a lifetime warranty. Secondly, it's 80% more solar reflective, so we're keeping a lot of heat off the coach. And then lastly, it's an easy repair if something did happen. If you got a snag in it, it's as simple as going to your local hardware store, getting a PVC patch kit, PVC paste, and that's a sufficient fix per the manufacturer. So some big advantages there.
So you've got complete 360 coverage in this. It's just an extremely well-built RV. You're going to be very well protected. Let's go ahead and talk about the pass-through storage next.
Awesome.
So when you're camping, you need a lot of storage, and you didn't leave anything short on the 29RL. Let's talk about the space next.
Yeah, great amount of storage here. A couple cool features in this pass-through compartment, starting with the 72-inch LED strip light that is on a motion sensor. So that's going to really illuminate this compartment, making sure you can get all your items, especially in the evening. Another cool feature, Joe, three-way switches. Love this feature. This really makes camping a lot easier, especially on the off-door side. When you're bringing a slide in and out, now you can stand right there, see what you're doing safely. Again, just makes it a lot easier.
I fully agree with you. Having used that myself when I went camping, being right next to that power box, I was able to slip it in between two slides. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and move to the front of the coach and talk about everything up there. All right, so at the front of the coach here, you got that beautiful fiberglass front cap. But what else is going on up here?
So starting with the front cap, the one thing I'd like to talk about is that monochromatic look that we have. I think it's important. It's going to match up great with most of your vehicle colors. Additionally, you're going to find that we're using a Curt Rotoflex pin box. I like this pin box a lot because it really dampens that stop and go, that chucking. It doesn't eliminate it, but it certainly dampens it, making that a little more towable in my opinion. And then in the compartment here, in the front compartment, you're going to find a standard off-the-grid solar package. On the all-access product, you're going to get a 200-watt panel, 15-amp Victron charge controller, that's an MPPT, and then multiple outlets are already hot, so we give you a great start.
Yeah, very nice. You got tons of great features up here. And that Victron system, that's
awesome.
what a lot of people are upgrading to, so giving it from the start is a huge win.
That change was all about customer feedback. We heard Victron over and over, so we're happy to be able to incorporate it.
I love that. All right, let's head to the off-camp side and talk about all the great features over there next. All right, so now that we're on the off-camp side, pretty important because you got a lot of controls over here. What's going on this side of the coach?
Yeah, starting with the leveling control panel. I'm a big fan of where we've strategically placed that. It gives you a direct line of sight to your truck when you're hooking and unhooking versus having it in the compartment where you're popping in and out. Just makes it a little more challenging. So great position on that. Next to that, you're going to find we're using 30-pound LP tanks. You can incorporate 40-pound tanks in there if you wanted to. You'll also find that we're using a 60,000 BTU on-demand water heater. That is a lot of BTUs, especially in our all-access series where a lot of our competition is going to use a 40 or a 42K.
Nice. And you got that 35K furnace as well, giving you tons of heat into the coach.
Yep, you got it.
Nice. Okay, then what about right here where you got a lot of controls? It might look intimidating to first-time RVers, but it's really not.
Yeah, no, I think we've simplified it. We've made it easy. Again, we'll start where we kind of left off with the slide-out switches. This is where this is really critical. This is going to make that setting up much easier, being able to pull this slide in and out. You're going to find a spray port. You've got your inputs. Very direct instructions here in regards to dry camping, your city water, winterizing, power tank fill, all the above. It's here and it's very simple. A nice thing that I like too, Joe, is just behind this little bungee strap, instead of pulling out 10 screws, if you needed to winterize or access anything behind this Nautilus panel, it's going to be very simple to do.
Yeah, very customer-driven feature again, just making it easy, and that's what we're about here.
And then last thing I'll mention too, you're going to find water shut-off valves throughout, again, ensuring that you can keep camping.
Love it. A lot of great features over here, but let's head to the rear wall and talk about all the great features you'll find back there. All right, Ab, so on the rear wall back here, it might look like just an ordinary everyday back wall, but it's not.
Yeah, quite a bit going on here as well. We'll start all the way up top. That $50 size black button you see, that's a universal camera prep. The benefit there is we allow the consumer to pick the camera they're choosing if they wanted to install that. Directly below that, you're going to find an accessory hitch. Just to the right of that, you're going to find a spray port, which I think is strategically placed just to ensure that the campsite's always clean. This is a great spot for it. Favorite feature back here has to be the all aluminum ladder that's rated for 300 pounds. Just a great touch there.
Yeah, I love that. And keeping your campsite clean is this very smart thing with this additional spray port back here. Whether you're washing your kids or your dog, it's a great spot. All right, let's head back to the campsite and talk about a few additional features. All right, Ab, let's talk about one of the most important features, where the rubber meets the road, the performance running gear.
Absolutely, that is the most critical component on exterior features. So you'll find that this year we have went from a 15-inch Goodyear tire to a 16-inch Goodyear tire on all of our all-access floor plans. You're also going to find that we're using a 2-inch torsion tube that's welded to our I-beam for additional strength. We're also using spring hangers with steel V-bracket enforcements. We have Dexter heavy-duty 3.5K springs. We use the Moride CRE 3000 suspension system, and then we're also using 1/2-inch shackle kits. You combine all of this, Joe, and I believe we have a best-in-class running gear.
I love it. Let's go ahead and talk about all the awning coverage you get under this trailer next. All right, Abs, so we all know that you're gonna spend more time outside than you are inside.
Yep.
And you were very smart giving these 2 huge awnings.
Yeah, I think we've got 90% of the coach covered, and that's a big deal. Another thing, Joe, that is cool is that we were able to bring this awning off the slide out. You know, we're not wasting any of that coverage by going over the slide out like a lot of folks will do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we knocked this one out of the park.
Giving yourselves essentially 2 designated camp areas. You got one by the pass-through,
Yep.
and then one back here by your large atrium windows.
Exactly.
Great, let's go ahead and talk about how everyone can learn more about this floor plan next. Everybody, thank you for taking the time to watch the tour of the Avenue 29RL. Ab, how can they learn more about this floor plan?
Yep, AllianceRV.com. And Joe, how can our consumers connect with Alliance?
Absolutely. Go to any social platform that you're active with and just search @AllianceRV. And everybody, we hope that you choose to join the Alliance.
In the corner here and the opposite side, you're going to find hidden storage just below. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Let's talk about the dinette. Oh, I'll say let's talk about the dinette next.
Now let's head back to the living room and finish up with Joe.
Finish up with Joe.
I don't know.
How about,
Sorry.
How about
no, what do you want me to
with
say?
Joe?
Okay.
Or talk about, like, let's go talk about some customer-driven features back in the
Oh, I
living
like
room.
it. Say it one more time, Joe. I love PVC for 3 big reasons. One, it's yeah.
I love PVC for.
Yep. I love. Do you hear that in the can?
I don't know if we can or not. It's loud. Okay.
So
Just
The
start
third.
Just start at the
Yep.
third.
And the third reason is it's extremely simple to repair. So if you had a snag, it's as simple as going to your local hardware. I can't even concentrate.
What is that?
I don't know.
I've never heard that before.
I think it's a Viking call.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a saw.
Is that the? No.
No, it just goes well with that horn. It's
Everybody, thank you so much for taking a tour of the Avenue 29RL. Ab, how can they learn more about this floor plan?
AllianceRV.com. Joe, how can our customers connect with Alliance?
You're just like, AllianceRV.com.
I need to go. No, sir, one more time.